No, no. I'm just going to say without knowing the real answer. I'm just going to say no.
Lion turds.
Yeah, that's my S&M safe word. Lion turds, pull it out. Too deep. Lion turds, pull it out. Too deep. Oh, I can taste the metal. Pull it out. Oh, mom.
Mommy.
Yeah.
That is descriptive.
Well, community college.
What are we going to talk about?
We're done. Thank you for coming. That was this show. I want to. I don't know. Who knows?
Doesn't matter. Okay,
no,
great.
it doesn't. No, it 100% doesn't matter. Jesus Christ. No, I will tell you though. I was speaking to a comedy friend of mine, and I mentioned you were going to be on the show today, and he told me he's been carrying a torch for you for many, many years.
What?
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
A comedy friend?
Well, of mine, and you know the person.
Okay, who?
I don't want to say, but his name rhymes with Joe Redoza. And so I don't know if that. I don't want to give too much away when I say that. He's very sweet, He wasn't like,
Yeah.
But I was like, he goes, oh, for Eisenberg, this guy, oh man, so cute. And then we started talking about Jewish girls for like way too long, and then he was at the post office, and I was like, people hear you, and he's like, yeah. It's like, when you get an express mail, they let it slide.
They know.
You can work a little blue.
You're in
In this line, you can, this guy,
getting express.
those priority mail people, they get you right out. So, that's not,
That's nice.
you're super cute. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be that much of a, and also, Joe will fuck everything, but don't take that the wrong way.
That used to be my criteria.
Yeah. Hey, look at you over there. All alive.
Look
how alive you are.
All breathing and
Signed
such.
up for monkeypox.
What?
Notifications.
What are you, bananas?
I don't know. Somehow I signed up for monkeypox notifications, and I get them. Just
What does that mean? A monkeypox note? Like someone in your circle, gets monkeypox?
No.
Modi? What? Modipox.
Somehow
Looks like Kugel all over his
it was like
face.
something. Right in the beginning, they were like, "Do you want, like New York City? Do you want updates on like new, whatever virus issues?" And I was like, "Yeah." Turns up now I'm on the monkeypox one.
Yeah, but did you get to select monkeypox, or it just kind of sends you whatever the
hot
hot new disease is?
It's the hot new disease. Yeah, hot
Okay.
takes on the new viruses. And I get so many of them that I say to my husband, he's like, I'm single again.
Yeah. It's single and gay and doing things that require all parts of the unicorn, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't...
It's not a gay disease. It could be anyone. Promiscuous.
Yes, I agree. Yes, I do. I don't really know much. It's one of those things that's like need to know, and all I know about monkeypox is like you get it through like contact, but it has to involve your asshole, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I guess it could be straight people.
Do you
could be me on my birthday.
Well, as long as it's not soon, you'll be
No,
okay.
I'll be fine. By then it'll be like, I don't know, orangutan pox or something.
I'm sure, right, I'm sure chickenpox sounded crazy when it first came out, but we're so used to it.
That was a foul disease.
All
right, I'm done.
From the
I'm just
foul
not
and
gonna-
foul.
Yeah, are we doing the thing?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Everybody, welcome to the Brian McCarthy Interview Show. Of course, I'm here with Ophir Eisenberg. Thank you for migrating over. This is really boring. We were on Facebook, and then we're bringing this over to YouTube.
Well.
And so, I don't know. If you're watching, you can comment, you can like. If it's a podcast you're listening to, well, then fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah,
None of this
back
matters.
and relax.
Yeah, sit back, unzip and enjoy.
Or you can go watch it on YouTube.
You can watch it on YouTube. Now it's archived. Facebook is a fucking disaster with everything.
It is. I want to rename Facebook this
Go ahead.
dead book because
Hot take.
well, so many people on it that I know are
dead.
Dead.
There is a service.
Or like deceased book.
Okay.
I don't
All
know.
right. We're workshopping
Oh, how about
it.
Yeah.
Dead Face?
All right.
face.
Wow.
Okay, I'm
That's
changing it to Dead Face.
Yeah.
Dead face.
It sounds like a Marvel character going awry.
Yeah.
Dead. Hey, leave my ex-wife out of this. Okay. All right. It's interesting because I believe when someone dies, I was under the impression that do you have to deactivate their account, someone in their life?
Yeah, someone has to have the password. I'm somehow Google sends me for my accounts these notifications all the time that is Google Inactive Manager. It's like, have you updated your Google Inactive Manager? Which means for whatever reason, if you are not logging into any of your Google accounts for an extended amount of time, it wants you to choose who you would like to know, have access of it.
Well, that's weird because it's so Google's saying, okay, we don't know if you're still alive, but if you are still alive, you're pick somebody. If you are dead, pick somebody who
Yeah, it's going to take this
is
thing
going to take
over.
it. But theoretically, by that logic, you would be dead. So Google would. You should have like a next of kin for like your Facebook.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not even kidding.
Isn't
like,
that kind of what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that's what
it's
it is.
supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you're supposed to set it beforehand.
oh.
So right now they're like, please update your Google Inactive Manager.
Oh, so what? So Inactive Manager is like next of kin for like your digital shit.
That's right.
Wow.
And you can decide. You can also decide nothing. Delete it all.
Oh, because I recently got rid of my Facebook page because you know what was getting me fucking crazy? Were people that were posting those first day of school pictures of
Yeah.
like their stupid kids
Yes.
with like their backpacks on and
Yes,
everything.
I
and
did not do that, but I have the photos on my phone.
Yeah. By the way, it's fine. And I don't know. I think I was just being kind of bitchy that day or something. And I was just watching like again and again and again.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, like I know that you mentioned your son is 6. And you are perfectly in the zone, but like when they're like in 10th or 11th grade, like come on, like the kid doesn't want to, because you know the energy, the kid doesn't want to be there. I actually Googled children with Down syndrome with backpacks, and I saved a couple pictures, and I was like, I'm going to put some of these up, and then I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
No.
I didn't. But I thought it'd be great to be like, Tammy. Here's my retarded daughter I don't ever see.
You know, it
I know.
just shows us how desperate we are to create content. We're like, we're creating content. I mean, that's our lives.
I don't like new words necessarily. You know, like I still call the refrigerator an ice box, but I don't. But I do love when people say someone's thirsty. Because,
oh, yes. Perfect.
yes, thirsty like really nails it. And of course, I'm going to overuse it and probably hate it in a week. But like, it is true. People want to. But there's also like a herd mentality. Someone sees their
Yes.
kid,
And they're like, I have a kid.
yeah, I'm going to do it too. Look at that.
You know what word that I really appreciate
Go
was
ahead.
introduced? I'm going to say it. I think it was by the millennials in this context.
Right.
Being triggered. I felt most of my life, I'm like, how do you describe that feeling when you walk into a room and you see your ex that you don't want to see anymore and it sends you on this like huge panic attack sentimental journey?
It is
Triggered.
It does, yeah. But again, it's been used. It's way overused, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
The one that, and this is more of a phrase than anything else, but when people say "at the end of the day,"
At the end of the day, Brian.
at the end of the day, I just
not for nothing.
I
But
immediately think they're stupid. Like I can't. I have to really climb out of that, you know. Or they go, "It is what it is." But here's the problem. It is what it is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
It
but
always is what it is.
It is. But it is such a redundant thing to say.
what it is, what it ain't.
Oh, I don't know that one. Who do you hanging out
That
with?
was like that was from like an old Curtis Mayfield song or something.
Oh, Superfly or
All of this does sound like George Carlin tried to write these bits and then he was like, nah.
I know.
Lost
But-
interest.
But you know what someone said to me recently?
Go ahead.
This phrase, and I haven't heard it in a long time. They said,
9/11
Take-
never happened.
there's
Sorry.
that. I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
They said, take this for what it's worth.
Oh,
Wow. You know what though? That's you can dust that
grain of
off.
salt, maybe.
Yeah.
Take this for what it's worth. I was
Not
like,
for nothing.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying is all.
and then they said, always wear a mask. And I was like, and then they said,
Uh-oh. Right.
because your eyes are amazing, which is a very nice compliment.
Oh.
But
wow.
they
That was
meant,
a long way to go.
but they also
Wow.
meant the rest of your face is getting in the way.
Yeah. They're like
Holding you back. It's holding the top you.
they're called lip fillers. Don't be afraid.
Oh my
right.
goodness.
You
yeah,
could use
thank
more
you.
of a pout, just so
Thank
you know. Right.
Thank you.
That is such
Uber
a backhanded.
driver?
Yeah, right. Uber, was it really an Uber
Uh-huh,
driver?
yeah.
Do you get hit on a lot by Uber drivers?
No. But I feel like people say weird things to me every once in a while. I had a sort of an acquaintance offer me a ride home, and I said, no, I'm fine. I just actually wanted to walk and take the train and just be in my own space.
Sure.
And he said, it's not like I'm going to hit on you. And I was
Oh,
like, that is
weird.
so. And I was like, what else are you not going to do? What a fun game
That's
this
a
is.
weird
What else
thing to
have you
say.
thought of that you're not going to do? Are you also not going to like, I don't know, chloroform me and kiss my blue lips?
Right.
Wow. Right. She's still kind
He
of
kept
warm.
going. Wow,
Right.
he gave more
God.
specifics.
Your Honor, she didn't say no.
Right.
So let me start with that. Can I tell you? And I talked about this in the show once or twice, but I think you'll think this is kind of funny. So a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
you know that place Nighthawk? It's like a movie
Sure.
theater. Okay, so my friend is very involved with that place, and I not Matthew the owner. But well, hi Matt, and shut up, Matt. Has a son named Hudson. Hate that name, but that's okay. We worked through it. I said that on one show, and he came up to me. He listens, and he was like, "Oh, my son's name is Hudson," because we were talking about horrible names
Oh,
for kids.
yeah.
And Declan is another one. But
That's
anyway,
that's my nephew.
are you serious?
My nephew's Declan.
Yeah, Jewish Declan.
My brother married outside of the Judaism.
Wow.
Yep.
Asian.
Declan?
Well, I'm saying, listen, all bets are off the table.
Oh,
with
I
names.
see where you're going here.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, because I know a woman who was
Scottish
Korean.
Irish.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's, all right. Maybe you get sort of a pass, but
Yeah.
I remember this little boy was like looked like he was Vietnamese, and it looked like he'd be standing in a rice paddy. I don't mean that I just mean like he looked very Vietnamese. His name was Liam. I was always like, "Hello, Liam. I love your pho. Corned beef pho. Oh, hello. Come out to Saigon with me."
It should be, you're right, like L apostrophe, Ian.
Yeah,
Maybe
could be,
something
yeah,
like that.
some sort of ampersand or something. Let's as my grandmother would say, let's Oriental this up.
Oh,
Okay,
yep.
so
Okay, so
back
back
to the
to
thing.
your,
So I'm at Nighthawk, right? And
yeah.
I'm meeting my friend at the place, and it was early. It was like we were supposed to meet at like 5 o'clock. I was there like at 4:30, so it's like way early happy hour, especially in Williamsburg. So I walk in, and I'm like, the place is pretty much, it's empty. There's people working there, but there's one girl like in the middle of the bar, and she's reading a book. She's like reading a book, but I felt like it was very much on display, right? And so,
yes.
so I felt like she wanted someone to talk to her, and I was bored. And I'm a big reader. I was, and I like to read books. So I was kind of interested to see. And I feel like it looked like a prop when she had the book, right? But I wanted to I figured. Plus, I was a little drunk, and because it was 4 o'clock.
Well, yeah.
And hello.
Like 3 hours later, how much have you
right.
been drinking?
Yeah, exactly, right. With the so I went up to her and I said that. I said, look, I am, because I wear a wedding ring and everything, but it doesn't stop a player. But I said to her, look, I am not trying to pick you up. I said, but I'm curious, what book are you reading? And I honestly can't even remember the book. But she was like, oh, it's called blah blah blah, and it was a book that I knew, and it was like a classic. I want to say it was like To Kill a Mockingbird or something.
Oh,
something.
okay.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, that's why she was showing it
Yeah,
off.
like it was like a large print.
Was she an 8th grader? What the fuck is
well,
happening?
If only.
I love Tom Sawyer,
Ooh.
too.
Yeah, hey,
Who-
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Hey.
just I'm thinking Hatchet.
Right.
I
I didn't
think
know Caillou was in a graphic novel. Dude,
Oh,
yeah,
the
cop a squat.
A little call out to Quebec.
Yeah, right. He's bald. I'm not the kind of kid. Okay. So anyway, so we start like chatting so we're talking, and then of course she was like in her early 20s, and she was cute. She was fine. But again, I had no designs on this girl. But then I was like, oh, I was drinking, and I said, let me buy a glass of wine. So now we're kind of like hanging out.
Oh, boy. She said yes.
Oh yeah, she said yes, of course, and just because it was free,
Well, she was hanging out waiting for a meet cute, is what it sounds like.
She was, but it was so early that there was nobody. If the place, even if it was going to be busy, wouldn't be busy for another hour at least. And so I'm just there. We're chatting, and then she says to me after about 20 minutes, she goes, "Hey, I have to use the bathroom. Will you wash my stuff?" And I was kind of like, yeah, sure, I guess. I don't know, So she goes in the bathroom, and the bathroom's across the thing. So I'm watching her stuff, and then I hear her go, psst, psst, and I look over. She's waving to me. She goes, psst, psst.
Lord.
And I go, what? Yeah? What? She goes, hey, do you want to watch me pee?
No.
I promise you. And I did want to watch her pee. I did. I do want to watch. I would want to watch him pee.
I do.
I did. I did. I have. I'm using all the tenses.
Yeah.
But I'm like stage whispering, like we're in some Broadway play. I was like, I can't watch you pee. I was like, I do want to watch you pee, but it's really inappropriate. I said, but
Yeah.
thank you for asking me. And
I
she
like
was
that you validated it.
Yeah. She was like, come watch me pee.
Don't change, though.
And she had like her pants down. So
What?
I know, trust me. And by the way, this kind of shit happens to me. It's not that uncommon. So I was like, I can't.
It's because of the way you look.
Oh, because you mean because of my I look like I'm trying to think of the fucking guy.
I feel like
I fucked it up.
your instincts were correct though in the way she was sort of posted up, reading a book, and like she was,
The whole thing is performative.
yeah,
Yes.
it's
The
very
whole
performative.
thing.
Yep.
And
She
did
was
you,
waiting.
Did you say can you just video it and send it?
Yeah, I was like,
Do you have an OnlyFans?
put the phone by
Has
your
that not
cu-
been invented
yeah.
yet?
Put the phone by your cunt. But anyway, so I
No,
was,
but
yeah,
Hilarious.
put the phone
do it,
by your
do
cunt.
it. All right, all right. Can you? I sent her an NDA. I'm like, here, just sign that. I'll be right in. You plan on pooping too? Because then that's for me. That's a double.
Ooh, yeah, number 2,
Wow.
I'll pay extra
So
20
I just
for
said,
that.
I was like, look, I can't. I'm sorry. And then she was like, kind of like, what a douchebag. And she was like, she came out and she was like, she doesn't see me poop. And then my pee. And then my friend showed up and I was like, I got to get out of here. I can't even handle the energy here now. So I just left and that was it. But what was great about
Until
that?
you find out, like you go there the next day, and there she is again.
She's
Same
again,
book.
Poor girl.
Waiting for
Right.
someone
Just
new
a
to see her pee.
giant water.
Yeah, big Gatorade.
You know,
It's a big
this
old
is-
Powerade.
Listen, that person could have that singular desire that they might get off on that
Oh,
since
yeah.
they whatever. But this is also where I go, man, the digital era has raised me and that woman on different porn because I did not have access
Okay.
to any of that stuff to even think about it, and it didn't occur to me otherwise.
Do you think that maybe the invitation to watch her pee was just to get in the bathroom and maybe
Maybe.
like do coke or like have sex? Maybe I
But
don't know.
why would you say the weirder thing?
It was
to
a
get
weird
you in the
entree.
door?
Trust me.
Listen, as far
Yeah.
as I know from my meager Coke years, nobody wants to share their Coke.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
I mean, guys want to share it with women, but women don't want
I
to
know.
share it
Have
with
Have you guys
guys.
ever walked in on anybody in public?
And I'm
though?
making this very heteronormative,
no.
listeners.
I know,
doing
right?
doing sex or something.
I've ever walked.
Have
yeah.
you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And Coke.
Yeah. And-
Oh, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I
If
saw-
count,
I saw a guy putting cocaine in his butt.
if by
No, I didn't
doing
see
it
that.
with them. Is,
Yeah. No, I was in Fire Island years ago, and I was in that shrunken forest, and which is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's like
The
gay
m-
It's
the
gay
meat
Narnia
locker.
anyway. Yeah.
At night, you were in the shrunken forest at night.
No, it was during the
Oh.
day, though, and
Oh,
I was
okay.
walking
I
through,
thought
and
you
I
said-
just saw one guy blowing another guy, and I just was kind of like, you know what, this is their place. I just backed
Yeah,
up.
of course.
and I
They're
jer-
in love.
Yeah, I just jerked off in the corner by a deer.
Okay, so I've
The day I got Lyme disease.
That story is. I have so many more thoughts on it. My brain is going
No,
crazy.
go
But
ahead.
then
Let's
I
do
was
the
just
Q&A.
like, when you started it, and you were like, "Oh, so I see you're reading." I was recently at a bar, and a guy, I was writing in a notebook.
Oh,
which,
boy.
let me tell you, is I just happen. You know what I love? I have a small child. I love writing. There's
Right.
not a lot of space and energy in my house that allows me that.
Sure.
I love going to a bar alone,
Right.
ordering a glass of wine, and trying to work on some bits. It's one
Wow,
of my
okay.
favorite things on the planet. Don't get to do it
nice.
enough. But if you are a woman, you could, and you are sitting at a bar with a notebook, you are a magnet for every asshole in a 70-mile radius to come ask you, "Are you a writer?" But this guy came up to me and said, a new one, because I was drinking. I looked at my phone, and then I was writing. I was a little distracted. And he said, "Hey, you seem like a great multitasker."
Oh.
You know what? Give that guy a chance. It's not a terrible opener.
Very benign.
Yeah.
I
pickup
loved it.
line,
I was like,
yeah.
"Show me your to-do list. I'll show you my to-do
Yeah.
list." You know, come on.
Yeah.
That was.
Wow.
I mean, I
That's-
give them unique.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. As a woman,
Sure, I'll try to
allegedly,
answer,
Right?
yeah.
What is if you could speak to other women or men even, like what's a good way what would you like? What's a brush off for that? Like, do you even have like how is there
A
any
brush off?
Is there even a way to like get out of that? I would feel like I would just have to leave if I was a woman. Like,
I mean, I have been hotel bars. I think are the place where you could be crying, like looking like absolute shit, crying, and writing a suicide note, and still someone at a hotel bar will be like, "Hey, so where are you from?"
yeah, cool.
Like,
Oh
it
yeah,
doesn't
I would
right.
say
matter.
especially under those
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
circumstances.
Because you seem like easy prey.
Yeah, here
Yeah.
for the
But-
conference.
I have
In my
said-
pants.
Yeah.
The
I
conference in my pants.
I have-
in my pants.
I do remember turning to a man who was like, "So where are you?" And I literally just went, "No,"
Wow.
like a dog.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like,
Like
you
a
kind of
dog.
got. That's why I was saying the other day to a group of friends that I don't even mind women ghosting or being kind of like brash like that, because I just feel like the sort of frequency of like pitches you're given every day, you
Right.
can't be just like
Pitches
nice.
is
You're being
great.
pitched all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what like one mutual friend was like, I don't know, moaning about women ghosting, and I'm like, dude, if we had that much like coming in, you would have to kind of
Right, you would
'Cause at
just-
least a ghost is a no. That's an answer in a way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is
know,
an
maybe
answer. I ghosted people back before the digital era where I literally moved towns.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I
Moved
relocated on
I
a
did.
gentleman.
3 times.
There was a girl named Hadria who was Harvey Keitel's assistant. Listen to me name dropping. And I know. Well,
What, did you meet at Nobu?
Wow.
No, we actually. Well, no, we met at Lit on Spring Street. Thank you very much. And she was really, really cute. I was like 20, 22, and and she was really cute. As a matter of fact, this is weird. She lived in Little Italy in this apartment, like Little Italy Soho adjacent. The apartment was so small that like it had one of those. It had like a refrigerator, like a dorm refrigerator, but that was the refrigerator.
Oh, yeah.
And the stove had 2 burners.
Oh yeah,
It
I've
was
seen
like,
those. It's
it
like
was-
a junior.
It's like I didn't even
Junior
realize.
apartment.
Like yeah, it was like.
Not an
New York,
apartment.
that's
it's
very common.
not an apartment.
I had a friend that just had a hot plate.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had like a
Sad.
mini fridge and a hot. I
I'd-
mean, it was like temporary. but
I'd never seen a loft bed before I moved here.
Oh, yeah.
The adult bunk
Ooh,
bed.
That's good for
Yeah.
square footage, though.
There are several places to buy. You know that you're in a small town with small apartments, and there's like several places to buy loft beds
Oh, yeah.
and futon shops.
And
'Cause-
and some of them are single, and people are like, "Yeah, that will do."
Yeah,
It's like,
you
Get
Oh
a
my
Murphy.
God.
Get a Murphy bed.
Oh, I love a Murphy bed. They're
beautiful.
expensive.
They're
They-
very expensive.
yes, they are.
heard.
You can put custom sconces. Oh my God, let's look at Murphy beds. Okay, everybody,
Ooh,
thank you for
had me
listening.
at- you had me at scones.
Oh, right, exactly. So anyway, so this girl hated you, but the first time we hooked up, her brother was in town from like I don't know California. She's like a showbiz family.
Yeah.
And so we're like in bed, and her brother is like 4 feet. Probably flowers in the attic. Her brother was like it was like I had a threesome with her and her brother. We didn't like fuck, you know what I mean? But like we did lots of stuff. And her brother was there, and we were all doing coke all night. So I'm sure he was like awake and laying there. But anyway, but this girl, Hadria, she was like, I remember, this was before cell phones, really.
Yeah.
And I had her phone number, and she kept ghosting me. And I must have been like a psycho because I would leave messages on her machine all the time, like, Hadria, you need to call me back. Like Alec Baldwin, his daughter, you know, I'd be like, God damn it, Hadria. I love you. You know, like, call me back.
It just like keeps
amazing.
escalating.
Yeah. Get angrier. And
I thought we had a future together.
That's what happens because the stuff
Oh,
that
yeah.
you do in your own brain is like far
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
more
100%,
intense.
100%.
I once, as online dating began, I was dating, and then it became like the way everyone dated. But I just remember there was like AOL Love, and there was
Wow.
maybe Match, I think, were
Okay,
the first couple.
sure.
And I wasn't on them, and there was still a little bit of a stigma.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
A little bit of a stigma.
Yeah.
But I felt like no need to be on them because I was like, why? I'm fine on my
Right.
own. So, but
What are you
then,
looking for, a robot?
right.
Right.
But a lot of guys were on them.
Sure.
And actually, there is a whole theory right now that the dating sites are not really for people to find love. They are trafficking women in a
Yeah, about
different
romance scammers too.
Yeah,
That's
right.
a big
Trafficking women.
Yeah, because it's
I wouldn't
really
mind paying that ticket. Ew, am I right,
I
everybody?
encountered a couple of, I believe, hookers on apps before.
Yeah.
I think that they were prostitutes.
yeah. But I think the idea
But-
is like the apps are really for men.
Oh,
to,
so they hook the women in, and they're like,
But I just mean like from a metaphorical standpoint that dating apps are because women do have so much coming at them.
Oh,
got you.
And so it's mostly for guys to be able to look at what's out there like a catalog. Like how are what are the true ways that the dating sites work? This is again heteronormative listeners. That is for men to look at women in this
it's like a big catalog.
yes, big
Sure.
catalog,
Like
and
Hamburger
then
Schlemmiker.
have
Yeah,
the
binder full
ability
of
to
women. Full of
verbally
women.
abuse them
Oh,
through
that's no fun.
through text because a lot of times when women say no to the dates,
Yeah.
or like I don't
Well,
want to do
only
this,
this- yeah.
they get heavily insulted.
Well, they're usually the stupid ones that don't know a good fucking guy when they meet him.
Right.
Anyway.
there's that.
Right.
Right.
Anyway, it sounds like the
Yeah,
mouthy
those
one.
stuck
she's
up
talking
bitches.
about.
Right.
I remember
Right.
I slept with this guy
They're
that
probably
I thought
lesbian.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
Exactly. With
That's
a lot
a
of
big one.
cats.
That's a big one. You always accuse them of.
Yeah, lesbians and cats.
Being
So
a
hold on. This is
lesbian, yeah.
beginning of AOL Match.com.
Yeah, so I went on a couple dates with this guy. We slept together.
Okay.
I was over. I just thought he was.
Oh, really?
I was just like this guy. I
Wow.
mean, I thought he was
Cat's
amazing.
pajamas.
Right.
And of course, why did I even like him more? He seemed completely disinterested in me.
Oh,
And
that's
I
healthy.
was, I remember I emailed him like too many times with not much back, and then I was still not satisfied. So I this was such a stupid idea. He was on Match, and I created a counter. This is still when you could do a fake profile because
Sure.
they hadn't battened it down yet. I created what I considered a profile that was just a pure reaction to his profile. So I just took all of the things
You
he
created
wrote.
his dream woman.
I took all the things.
Oh,
He's like, look at this girl. I like model trains too. Look at her. Wow.
Holy
And
shit!
then I was like,
Long
what am
walks
I
on the
doing?
beach.
Yeah, it was just catharsis, I think.
So did you
but-
get a hold of him?
No.
Oh.
You didn't hook him in with the.
No, that
and
was
then
just
go,
like
"Aha!"
wasted time of me of like ridiculous.
People do that. I watch Catfish, and people do that all the time, where
Yeah.
they create like a alter thing, and then sometimes
That's
they will
right.
be catfishing like a person that lives in their house.
What?
It'll be like somebody that was friend zoned, right? And then they'll create
the perfect.
the perfect person, and then they'll get that person to fall in love with them.
Jesus.
And then they call Neve Schulman.
That's right.
And he shows up and they go, it was me the whole time.
Yeah.
And they go, whoa. And it just makes it way worse.
Yeah, because they
'Cause
find
could you
out it's
imagine?
just 3 raccoons in a trench coat. It's always
Yeah.
the worst.
That's not so
But
bad.
it would be like, let's just,
the girls I dated.
let's just say like,
okay, all
like
right.
hypothetically, Brian,
uh-huh.
if I was in love with you.
Don't
and-
do it. Don't even-
And I
Like, I've
was
never
like,
thought
but he
about it.
only
Yeah.
but he
God.
only likes
I just came like
girls.
9 times.
He only likes girls. And then I would create like this lady.
By the way, don't throw the baby out of the bathwater.
and then I go, I just wanted to get to know you, in a more intimate way, and then we like sexed, right?
Right.
Again, it's all hypothetical.
Sure.
And then I go, it was me the whole time, and then I'm pissed that you don't like the situation, even though I misrepresented
I
myself.
would love to like know that you're doing that and be like, I don't love you because I'm carrying a torch for this guy Adam,
Yeah.
and then the other room your like head explodes,
Right.
and- right,
Right.
And all we turn into zeros and ones, like the
Great.
Matrix and everything.
It's
And
a
I
Matrix.
just can't tell him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know because
can't
what I didn't understand. I mean, I've been with my wife. I've been with my wife for 23 years.
Okay.
And we've been married for it feels like forever. Who does the infinity thing? We'll cut that part out. But no, but like I've been married for almost 18 years or something like that, 18, 17 years, and so and all great. I love my wife; she's terrific. And but like so I don't know about obviously like Tinder and things like that.
Yeah.
And I do have like these fantasies of like going on and just kind of like seeing what's out there just before. And what I've learned from my friends, like if you go on Tinder, it's not just enough to go on Tinder. You have to go on Tinder. Then you have to like pay to have your like profile boosted. Like there's a whole right.
You
There's a
can.
Well,
You
you
can.
have to apparently.
didn't.
Well, you're a good. You're a. Thick
I will say
dick.
this. I will say this. I did the premium thing one time because if you do that, you can see who likes you.
Right.
There you
And,
go.
More
it was
data.
like, oh, you've been liked 1,000 times, and I'm like, let me just see. And it was the funniest shit because I paid like $9.99 to see it, and it was like the polar opposite of what
Adam
I would
likes
be
black girls with big booties.
Who
That's his
doesn't?
thing.
generally
I
speaking.
mean, yeah. I mean, I agree. They don't
Yeah.
like me. They never have liked me.
Well, you gotta, they probably would. You just gotta try.
I don't know.
Exactly.
always
But
be-
Hinge is what
Yeah,
everyone's
Hinge is a good
Yeah.
one.
meeting on. Tinder is
Can
like it seems to be second.
And that's where you meet the girls that have drive the traffic girls.
That's
Girls.
where you meet the traffic
Yeah,
girls,
the ones.
all
Right.
the crossing guards.
So you came over here on the bottom of a container ship. Tell me about that.
I would say like the 4 craziest women I ever met were on Hinge.
Really?
They're all
When you say they're
crazy.
unhinged,
More like on Hinge.
you motherfucker.
Yeah,
They're
but
all
it was
crazy.
like dangerous. Like
And what's the
dangerously
one where
crazy.
women pick you?
Bumble?
Bumble.
And I think there was another one. Maybe Plenty of Fish also had that.
That sounds Catholic or something, or Christian.
No, that
Bumble
was-
was Bumble is where I feel like it was like
Wild West?
the women promoting their OnlyFans and stuff. I
really?
came
Yeah.
across like a lot of like wild shit on.
Really?
Yeah, I got like yelled at by a lady because I didn't respond fast enough. I remember I was doing a podcast and I was
Okay.
like getting notifications, and
Oh.
she was just like, "This is fucking ridiculous. If you're not ready to talk, why you even?" And then she like blocked me and then unblocked me. It was
You should have just said I'm doing a podcast. She would have been turned off right away.
right, dry, just fucking dried like the Sahara.
Plus,
Sorry,
the kind of
Patrick,
girls
I'm
that
doing
you
a
like, she probably
podcast.
the kind of girls that you like probably have those giant nails too. You're like, wow, you're typing so quickly with those
She was
giant
a Dominican,
nails.
She was a
See?
Dominican girl that lived in the Bronx.
Right?
I don't know. I can't speak to
Yeah.
her nail length.
I would say any dating app that's an onomatopoeia, you know what I mean, like Bumble.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, they kind of all are.
Yeah, they
You
really.
know,
You're right. Hinge is kind of
Hinge.
yeah. And then there was the one for people that are married. Ashley Madison.
Ashley Madison.
Right.
Oh
Right.
my goodness, I used to hear those ads all the
Ashley
time
Madison,
on
find
all
your
kinds of
lovers here.
podcasts.
Ashley Madison.
Did you ever see too? If you look on there, they're like this tier. Like if you signed up for that, it was like $50 a month, and they said guaranteed affair.
Wow.
You're
Guaranteed.
guaranteed. Like if nobody will fuck you. We'll come there and do it ourselves.
Yeah, $50.
$50.
It had add a little extra steam to it, I believe, at the beginning of the pandemic. Ashley Madison had a little
Everybody was stepping out
yeah,
on each other.
a little bit of an elevation when people were like, "Oh my God, this person's face is driving me crazy."
Yeah, but then I remember something with Ashley Madison where you had they did a big data breach or something. and, like,
Yes.
all the people that were on Ashley Madison,
Brilliant.
it became open to everybody. That you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, well, I will tell you. Okay, without betraying any confidences, you know, my daughters go to private school on the Upper East Side, and
You are rich.
listen. We're comfortable. We're
Got it.
we're what we call Manhattan middle class. Okay.
Yeah, I'm poor.
Yes, exactly. We have a home north of the highway and out east. We don't call it the Hamptons. Can you imagine? Out east.
Gross.
Thank you. I know. Long Island, really, if you will. God. Sag
It's
Harbor.
wine country,
That's
but
what
whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's North Fork. Ugh, can you imagine? A Bay Beach? Yuck.
Oh,
I know. If I hear one more person tell me about Freeport.
might as well just be the tub. Am I right?
Thank you. It's Peconic Bay. I once hosted one of these school benefits. Remember, one of my kids went to PS 107 when we lived in Brooklyn before we moved here, and I hosted the live auction thing. John Hodgman, you probably know that fucking
Yeah,
guy.
sure.
It's right. John Hodgman. Well, it's just kind of a funny thing because John Hodgman was always the host of this thing, right?
Yep.
And then the one year he couldn't do it. Here they come crawling to me, right? Mr. VH1 in 1999.
You're back
And
up for Hodgman.
I was
huh?
back for
Wow.
Hodgman, right? I'm like, I
Interesting.
went to Harvard Community College.
Look, I have blazers.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I have owlish good looks. So they go, will you do this thing? So of course I wear a tuxedo and I do this whole thing and I do and then one of the things, and John, if you're listening, we actually made tons of money that year because I treated it like a game show and I put a lot of energy and everything, and then the next year I thought I was doing it again, and then John Hodgman denied to do it, and then I told people I was doing it and then I wasn't, and then I was at another school event and I was like, fuck that guy, and I was just joking around like as if I was really angry, and then the principal of the school called me and was like, we know you're really upset about John. I'm like, I was so embarrassed. I was like, I'm not. I was playing a character of a guy that was embarrassed. Anyway, so at one of the things when I was hosting this thing was like this benefit, and it was this parent had given their beach house for like 3 nights. Of course, by the way, giving your beach house in May or September.
I know.
What a hero! Come on,
Right during
Yeah.
it's also Wednesday
Yeah,
through
exactly, right.
through
They don't
Friday.
know where capes, Brian.
Yeah, I know. So as a matter of fact, the couple of times that I've done this and people have done that, I will make them do a weekend in the summer to put them on the spot. I'm like, listen, we're doing this. I'm changing it. You are doing this in July. Fuck you.
No, last weekend of August. That really
that would be
pisses
great.
them
Oh,
off.
that would be great. Right.
Ooh.
But this woman, so I get that, and I'm reading it, and of course, I'm just fucking around, and I look at it, and I go, wait a minute, there's a North Fork of Long Island? I said, what is that? What is even up there? I was like, what, this is on the bay? I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, I want to apologize to everyone here. We're going to start the bidding at $4. And of course, it went for like $2,000 or whatever. But then afterwards, the mom came up, and it was her. I don't know who this fucking person is. And she comes up and she's like, "I'll have you know that Freeport has a lot of lovely." And I was like, listen, the joke is I'm up there in a tuxedo shitting on the North Fork. That's the joke of
Listen,
it.
It's called a sound.
Also,
not a
comedy.
bay.
Well,
Hello,
that
comedy.
doesn't-
I
that-
know.
Capital.
I will say though, these Park Slope, because I live in Park Slope, these
Right.
Park Slope fundraisers, and I haven't done one for my kids' school yet because we're just kind of starting with the whole school thing. But I have been asked by other public schools in Park Slope to be part of theirs, and one. This was a few years ago now, before the pandemic. I remember it was. I think one of the coveted schools. And-
321, 107.
Yeah, something like that. And
Okay.
they were like, their lineup was insane.
Yeah.
And they were like, can you do it? And I was like, I have to check on the date because I think I might have a conflict, but let me see what I could do. And then I wrote back and I was like, okay, yeah, I cleared it. And she was like, I'm sorry, we've already booked it. And I was like,
Right.
I am,
Have you-
this is a benefit for a school.
Excuse me. Have you ever heard of Rita Rudner? Okay. She is going. Okay. Okay. Ophira Eisenberg,
That was
thank you for
wild.
getting back to us.
It was wild. I
Right.
was just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I've just been refused.
You've been. Yeah. We got
by
to
a
jump.
fundraiser for a public elementary school.
Well, here's the thing
That's
about.
how it starts.
I know, right? After 20 years in this
Like they got
business.
someone
Oh,
bigger.
yes,
I mean,
it
not
is
hard,
business.
but still, you
Right.
got someone bigger.
You should show up like Cruella DeVille at the benefit. You're like, I'm doing time anyway.
Or just like across the street at the other school.
With the
I don't know if
mega-
you guys want to. I'm doing
no
something at
benefit
Bean
going on.
Sprouts.
yeah,
If
right.
you want to come over to Bean Sprouts
God,
preschool? I've
that's
got a
funny.
whole thing.
Oh, 4 black kids all of a sudden. What's this, Harriet Tubman Elementary School? Congratulations, you bougie fucks. Yeah. Well, here's the thing that makes me laugh about Park Slope in Brooklyn. And for those of you who are listening, these are the brownstone neighborhoods in Brooklyn. And what that means is it's a beautiful area, but everyone in these, and it's exceptionally expensive. I mean,
Yes.
it's not like it's not Manhattan, but it's very expensive.
It's equal to Manhattan in some ways. now.
100%,
Yeah.
yes. Square footage, but let's not get it twisted.
Oh, that's true.
But what I mean to say is like everyone in Brooklyn like pretends that they don't have any money. Do you know what I mean? Like there's very much like it's kind of like everyone's like, oh yeah, like oh no, we have a place like in the Catskills. Well, that's still like a $700,000
What?
house.
And they're like, it's not even the nice part.
I
You're like,
know.
what
Yeah,
are
right.
we talking about right now?
Right, exactly. And like everyone goes to Union Market. There's
the
$29
most
a pound
expensive.
for chicken thighs.
And
yeah.
the people working there, by the way, Union
They
Market shout out,
hate-
they are very mad. They are very mad
They-
at everyone.
There's a lot of classism in this
Oh,
town, and it's in great. And I will tell. I actually wanted to bring this up with you because I thought you would. Because I was thinking about clubs and how like clubs. I've never. I was a member of the Friars Club, and,
Yeah.
and like that didn't work out. I've always been like members of clubs, and I've always been kicked out of clubs. I've been kicked out of lots of clubs. I don't even, and it's like I don't even know why. I don't know what I like.
I mean, you probably know why.
Well,
Let's not be.
Right.
Come on.
yeah, right.
You've triggered
I told,
a few
right.
people.
I told Freddie Roman, I said, show me your concentration camp tattoo. Oh, this kid.
The last time, by the way, I was at the Friars Club, I
Yeah.
ordered a martini. I feel like it
In
was
the Billy Crystal bar?
$90,000. It was so expensive.
Why were you paying for it? Were you a guest?
No, someone did.
Okay.
Someone did end up buying it for me, and I was
Being
'cause-
a Jewish club, they told you how much it was? Here you go. It's $19. Drink it slow.
Even though it was on, they still want you to know the price
Right.
point.
You better be blowing me.
that is very much something someone in my family would do. They're
Right.
like, "Look at this lovely shirt I got you.
Right.
It was $40."
$40. Those are loonies too, honey. Okay, 40 loonies.
Count them out.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's-
Cut them out.
CA.
No, so Equinox, right?
Yes.
So I
The gym.
yes.
Okay.
No, the vernal.
It just happened.
yeah, right. Hey,
The
he's
element, or I don't know what the equinox would be considered.
Ophira, hilarious Wiccan, Ophira Eisenberg.
I guess in a lot of science podcasts.
Right.
And witchery. You're right.
Do you really?
No.
Oh, I don't know. What do I?
I know. I
right.
seem smart.
Well, you just seem quirky, and for girls, that's smart. So anyway, you're like I've seen Hocus Pocus 4 times with Bette Midler, which they're remaking apparently.
I did spells before it was cool. Trust me.
Yeah, the path of the left hand. Oh, weird sidebar. I've been trying to get a Satanist on this show forever, and because when I was in this is good. When I was in Catholic school, I was kicked out of Catholic school for Satanism. I wasn't really worshiping the devil.
Another club.
It kind of is. It
Come
really,
on.
Yeah, I'm
See,
not
Catholic
even. It is.
school?
Yes, it is very much a club. But the thing about Satanism is there's like two types of Satanism. There's the kind where it's like, do what you want, and it's sort of ironic Satanism where Satan is a figure, but you don't really worship the devil. And those people are kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like it's like do what thou wilt. Like just kind of like realizing that. No hypocrisy, and I not that I would belong because that would get kicked out anyway. It's pointless, but like so those people I'm interested in, but so I follow a lot of them on Instagram. It's like the Church of Satan, but then there's the Satanic Temple,
Right?
And because of my vision, I sometimes fuck it up because the Satanic Temple is like, do you worship the Lord Set? You're like, oh my god, they're the people that like get horns in their head and like walk around in like cloven hoof T-shirts and brand themselves, and so I'm always trying to get. The other one on this show, but sometimes I fuck it up. So now I'm on Instagram with somebody, and I don't know if it's like the Satanic Temple or if it's the Church of Satan.
Ask them to send you some of their favorite links.
Right, exactly.
People love sending links.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
my god!
yeah.
Which, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want to rape and kill a baby? And one guy's like, yuck, and I'm like, okay.
How would you describe your relationship with goats?
Utterly ridiculous. Right. So anyway, so
you got
Equinox.
kicked. Okay.
Okay, so I was a member of Equinox forever, right? And then after the
How many
pandemic,
different ways can you brag about your wealth?
I'm not bragging about my wealth. It's more about right. As I sorry, is my Panerai glinting
check
in your
my-
face? Let me check my $12,000 watch. Oh God, these microphones are made of buffalo.
That's right. Taking an Uber
hide.
Black down to
Yeah.
Equinox.
By the way, we're gonna put you in a car home. By the way, just so you know, no train for you. Ooh.
Someone's doing well.
Well, exactly. It's Uber moped.
Yes, it is. It's going to be a share.
Sure.
Uber
Yeah.
pool. Uber pool.
Uber City Bike. Wait a second.
It's an Uber
just
pool. It's actually an above ground pool. I tell you.
that we have not filled
be
in
home
a
by
while.
sundown.
No. Is it water? Kind of. With water once? Okay, so
You were in Equinox.
right? The day they reopened Equinox, okay, I went back and here you go, my trainer was like, you got to come back. And I was so excited because I hadn't been, look, I mean, whatever, but like I hadn't been doing anything. And at the time we lived on the Upper West Side. So I was going to the old Reebok Club. It's on Columbus Avenue. It's like a Reebok. It's like Equinox Sports Club or something. So
Yeah.
I've been going there all the time, right? And because of my vision, they have an app and you have to show it and they scan it.
Yeah.
But because it's a pain in the ass. So the people at the front desk have to like kind of check me in a little bit. I mean, generally speaking. So I always because I'm embarrassed by that, like there's a place called the Sensuous Bean around the corner, and they have coffees and they have a weird like credit card minimum there of like, I know I'm way over explaining this, but of $10. So I would get like an iced
He
coffee.
pulled out his black card.
Right, which I used to chop up my booger sugar. Oh yeah, and so I would always go, and it'd be like $10, and I'd always have like $3 and some cents left, and I'd go, just give me a quarter pound of dark chocolate espresso beans. So every time I would go to Equinox, I would just give them these. I would go, hey, they're all like young, like gay actor
Perfect.
types. And I would go, here, guys. And they were always sweet, whatever it was. So I come back to Equinox, right? And this is like the fucking first day back. So you have to wear a mask. When you come in downstairs, they take your temperature. They like wipe you down with fucking 409. You go upstairs, mask on. There was nobody in the whole place except for the trainer, 2 other people. I go in, I do the workout. Everything's kind of fine, like whatever. But there was nobody in the place. I mean, literally maybe 1 or 2 other people, and that place is huge. So I leave. An hour later, I get a phone call from Equinox, and I thought they were doing like some sort of like outreach, like, oh, hey, Mr. McCarthy, thank you so much for, and I pick up the call, and it's like, hi, this is Liz from Equinox, the front desk manager. And I said, oh, hi. And also they have an executive locker room, and I've been wanting to join the executive locker room.
Just staring at you through this story.
Because I can't do the combinations because of my vision. And they have like a guy that is always in the executive locker room. Oh, Tommy. Oh, hello, Mr. McCarthy.
Listen, I really feel like Equinox is like this elitist thing, but the fact that they have a locker room that most people don't even know about.
Yeah, it's true. With a guy in there.
With a guy in there.
Well, he's got a man. They have like little muffins and stuff. You know what I mean?
All right.
So,
Okay,
Bathroom
so-
muffins.
So anyway, I know, right? It'd be more disgusting.
Yeah.
Just eat this brand muffin. Wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like a scone while you're shaving? Yuck, but yes.
Can you feed it to me?
Yeah, right. Like a baby bird, spit it in my mouth. Sure, Mr. McCarthy. Oh, God. Why am I doing that voice? But anyway, so I thought it was about the executive locker room, right? So I'm like, hi, I don't know who Liz is. I go, hi, Liz. I said, boy, I'm so glad you guys are open again, blah, blah, blah. She cuts me off. She goes, Mr. McCarthy, we're canceling your membership. And I said, and I thought she was kidding. And I said, I'm sorry, what? She goes, we're canceling your membership. And I said, why?
Yeah.
She said, we had a complaint about you from one of our staff members, and we inappropriate comments will not be tolerated, and we have a zero tolerance policy for harassment, and you are, I'm sorry. She didn't even say sorry. She was such a fucking Liz. You were a total bitch about this.
What did, I mean, I know who you are, so this is all possible, but what happened?
So here's what happened. So after, and by the way, I'm with my wife, and we're in like Barney Greengrass, and I'm like, I'm getting kicked out of Equinox. I'll have the belly locks, right?
And all the Jews were like,
Right.
Doug, why doesn't he join the Y?
Yeah, right. Kippers and eggs. I'm going to take this outside. So good Shabbos, everybody. So I say to her, I said, I'm sorry, you have to tell me what I said because I'm mortified. Number one, because look, I like to joke around, but like I never want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I do like to make people laugh at things that they wouldn't ordinarily laugh at, but the minute I make someone feel uncomfortable, even if you make someone uncomfortable, regardless of my intention, I still feel terribly because it's on me.
Yeah, you're not part of the company. This isn't HR. This is corporate.
Right.
It's different.
So she goes, when you came in to get your temperature taken, you told the person that you prefer having your temperature taken the European way. And she said that to me. And she said, did you say that? And I said, yeah, probably. Yeah, I did. I said, I'm sorry. Was he offended? I'm like, I'm awfully sorry. And she goes, well, he complained and he went home for the day.
He went home for the day.
And so
What?
Yeah. So
All right.
that was the thing
Sorry,
that I said.
soft.
Right. So I said to Liz, so what does this mean? Am I like suspended? She goes, no, it's called a house cancel. I said, well, can I ever join again? She goes, no. And then I had just purchased like sessions from Equinox, and I have a notification from my Amex card, and like my wife and I share it, and like she's like, we have like she's like, you're getting refunded like $5,000. Like it was like I was getting like erased. Like remember Back to the Future when they on the Polaroid when they get erased. She's like, you're getting erased. Yeah. And meanwhile,
your card.
Yeah, like Equinox, like the guy that sells memberships there has like given me a towel and been like, hey, when you come out of the locker room, make sure you wash the cum out of your butt. Like, people joke around in gyms.
You
like,
joked around with the wrong millennial.
Yes.
Sorry, I made the person
no,
a millennial.
I know. Oh, he was a young guy. He was a young.
It was probably younger. It was probably
Yeah. So I said, what if they open an Equinox on the dark side of the moon? Can I join that one? Liz was like, no. She wanted to get on the phone with me. She was like, I was so dead to her. So then flash forward, 6 months later, we bought this place, move over here. I get a call from the Equinox on 2nd Avenue. They're like, Mr. McCarthy, we noticed you used to be a member. I was like, you guys kicked me out. Like, look on the computer. She's like, I don't see anything. I rejoined, set up with another trainer. Then when I got to the appointment, I got a call from the general manager going, you can't be a member here. I was like, why are you guys fucking with me? Like, what have I done to you people? So now I'm at the Gay Crunch on 54th
Yay!
Street.
Wait,
Where
tell
there
her-
are no judgments.
No.
No, judgment-free zone.
That's right.
And we will blow you. But what? Tell her the other thing about that you
European
said
way,
about
that's so light.
your Grindr account to the guy, because that was a good line.
What did I even say? I said
You-
something
you
about
said-
Go ahead.
You said, do me a favor. Can you open my Grindr account and uncheck bareback?
Yeah, I did say that.
Which I hope that's. I mean that
I did say
is-
that, yeah.
But that's
like-
very
that's a-
funny.
yes.
Very funny.
You can't do that with people.
No.
You cannot
just-
do this with people.
But the fucking European, maybe
I know,
you
that
meant
is so-
metric. I
Maybe
don't
she
know.
wanted to say that one to me, but she was like, I can't say that like on the.
Yeah.
the fact that honestly that is a very like you just said, that is kind of smart, and it's so subtle and innuendo, and you would have to, like, the fact that person you said it to even knew what you were talking about.
Right.
Oh yeah, they know.
Well, you said it was a lot of young gay guys.
A lot of
right?
young gay, a lot of hot young, and also so what you're
hairless.
saying about right
twinks.
and full of joy, right? Very sensitive. To that.
I would love to take half a day off for anything anyone's ever said to me.
right.
I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
people have
right?
just plainly
Yeah.
said to me in a retail establishment like like in a mall, like I would
100%.
like to come on your face, and then I'd be like, can I take 5 minutes? They'd be like, no,
No.
unless you want to be fired.
And you got to let them.
And in
Yeah.
5 minutes, I'm going to come in your face again.
And by the way,
gotta
did
let
you
'em
make
do
a
it.
sale?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you are fired.
I know. I used to work in restaurants in New York, and I worked at
I mean, not that it should be tolerated, just to
No.
be
No.
clear, but what?
I worked at a place called Tequila Willie's by Grand Central, and this is a place
Tequila
where
Willie's?
you had to go get your own.
The worst name on the planet.
It was part of the hula. It was hula hands and Tequila Willie's.
It's
They
like
were-
so you're sticking your finger in some tequila, then throwing it in someone's ear.
Yeah.
right in your dick hole. Whee! Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But I remember, like, you had to go to the window to get your food, and they also had like the chip warmer there, and the manager was this like big fat Italian guy. And he would take chips, and when I would go, he would throw. He knew I was an actor, and he'd throw chips at me. He'd go, "You're never gonna make it. You're never gonna make it." And he would throw chips at me.
And that was your boss?
That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
hilarious.
I mean, have you ever worked in a restaurant before?
I only as a hostess.
Oh, that's not really.
Yeah,
no.
I was a terrible server.
You're just there to fuck the managers.
But I bust. I busted.
What?
Well, I was too young to serve.
Where was this? Some
In
like Western place
Calgary,
in Calgary,
Alberta. Yeah.
Wow.
So hold on, let me ask you about Calgary.
Okay.
Calgary, I'm guessing about 500,000 people, maybe 300,000.
When I grew up, it was 750,000,
Oh, that's
and
pretty
now it's over 1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, we sort of joked about how it's not diverse, but is it when you?
It's so much more diverse now.
I mean, it kind of has to be, right? But-
Yeah. Just because of everything. Yes.
But when you were growing up, like you grew up in the suburbs.
Yes.
Okay.
There was only suburbs. I mean, no one lived downtown.
What do you live downtown?
Now
Oh,
people
yeah.
do. But if someone had an apartment, I remember going like, oh, they must have just left prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I've never actually been to Calgary. I've been, to Canada, Trois-Rivières, and for some reason I had a roommate. I keep saying Trois-Rivières, I had a roommate, and his brother.
The most random.
I know. Well, it means three rivers in French.
Sure does.
It's, Je me souviens. So but I had a roommate, and his brother was a member of the Hells Angels, and I went
Oh, yeah.
to a party in Trois-Rivières years ago. It was like a birthday party. And
Wild.
I know, it was a lot of fun because like they're French. You know what's interesting about and Quebec is if you are like as a term of endearment, you say cochon.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, which means pig.
Pig.
Right. Now, but apparently, and this is because my cousin, she married a French Canadian guy. He's fucking gorgeous. But he
Sounds
told
like it.
me, yeah, Matt, you know who you are. I brought them to this stand. They wanted to see a show when they were in town.
Yeah.
And I know Paulie, and I brought them downstairs. They got kicked out for yelling at the comic. And I was like, you guys, can you guys fucking behave yourself? This is the old stand, like upstairs and downstairs, and like, Paulie comes over and he's like, hey, you like your cousin or husband? He's like, he's got like the
The
busboy
rowdy-
in a headlock, and they're like the nicest people too. People go to comedy shows and lose their shit.
I yelled so hard. I mean, I talked to a table last night. And
Did you really? What
Yeah. Oh,
happened?
yeah.
I love these stories. What happened?
These, I gotta say, these young girls, whatever, they
These
were like,
fucking
they
broads.
were like 22, I'd say. They were actually, that's not fair. They were probably a little older because they had jobs, but they were just chatting. They were just chatting, and the manager came over and spoke to them. I was second last on the show, so I was like, oh, this cannot be the first time this has happened, right?
Right.
So I said, oh, you guys, you've been told more than once you got in trouble, and they were like, yeah, and they just kept talking, and I said, I'm only talking to you, and I said, do you live in New York? And she goes, yeah, and I go, oh, so you know better.
Oh.
And everyone just went, yeah, already on their
yeah,
side. But then she walked me into a very stereotypical thing because I was like, do you have to work tomorrow? I go, you're getting drunk. Where do you have to work tomorrow? She goes, accounting firm. I go, what do you do there? She goes, consultant. I made a couple little jokes about that. And I said, do you like it? She goes, no, not really. I go, so it's not. And then they were mad. And but the rest of the crowd was happy.
Yeah,
And they loved
didn't
me.
They didn't like the artful way you walked her in. They didn't even appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, they didn't, but the crowd did. And it
Ooh,
was
bad
so
sports.
fun.
How do you not?
Bad
All right, so
sports.
I'm glad that we're okay. So forget everything else. Let's talk
Okay,
about
forget
stand-up comedy
everything else.
for a minute. Forget everything else. But like, how do you not? That's the thing about stand-up comedy is like how do you not just resent the audience? Like they get in the way.
It's so hard.
And it's kind of like, it really has to like, because there are people that like I don't like crowd work personally. I mean, I don't really like. You know who I just bought tickets to see Louis C.K. I never buy tickets to see anything, but I'm seeing Louis in January.
In New York or
Yeah, hotel room
Connecticut?
is a jerk off for me. I'm going to
Oh,
pay
yeah,
him.
right.
I'm
'Cause
$25,000.
my
No,
friend-
at the Garden.
Oh, at the Garden. Yeah, my
Yeah.
friend was like, "Please come see Louis C.K. with me in Stanford," and I was like, I live in New York.
Yeah, it's far.
Like,
I know. Stanford.
Like, I might be able to see him at the Cellar tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Yeah. She's like, he's going to be in Stanford. Come up there. There's a medieval times. We can make a whole night of it. Yeah. Anyway, but I really like Louis, and I'm going to go see the show anyway. But that's neither here nor there. But like, I will go see a show if it's in a theater, and I can sit there, and there we go.
That's right.
And it's a performance, and I really enjoy that. But like sitting in but there are people that like to sit in the audience, and then. But there are comics that do a lot of crowd work, Jay Okerson, and they, and that's their thing that they. But that's
Some of it's demanded now.
yeah, and that's the material.
Yes.
It's like a club will say, and they do. And I just feel like for someone like you who does, and a lot of people who craft material, when you're up there, and it's like that wasn't even fun for you. Like that takes the joy out of it to say to some twat sitting there with her friends and the accounting, and the crowd, and it just all of a sudden it becomes. No fun for anybody.
One, I'd like to say I've always wanted to do a column for a women's publication called Twat's New.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I mean,
what's up, pussycat?
right?
Okay.
But I will say that was like for a Thursday night, that was a really good crowd, and it was so. I was like working on like the whole thing where I come in, I'm like, we're really going to try to work on these bits because they're getting close, but they're not quite there. And this is the perfect time to do it.
Right.
And then you get derailed and you can't get exactly back on track.
No,
'cause
now you're stuck there.
And you got to shift all the energy all around. And that's when you go, thank God I have chops but my job is now like really it's ringmaster.
Yeah,
it's
no,
moving
it's
energy
herding
around.
cats.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But like these ladies are just talking, like you're talking about crowd work, which is a thing. I get
Yes.
that, like, make us part of
Oh,
it,
sure,
or whatever.
sure.
But like, this is just
Disruptive.
You're just talking. You're acting like I'm a television.
So, and there's another just like post-pandemic comedy clubs. Some of them are using QR codes instead of menus, and
Oh,
that means
God.
people can have they have to have their phone active at their table, which is like another thing.
Oh, it's too much.
It's too much. And then there are other places where, I do think as much as it's kind of funny, like I was like, I know exactly what the audience experience needs to be. The minute, people complain that they go to a place in New York and they're just yelled at from the first second.
Right.
And I complain about that too, because I don't like it. But I also get it.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of like, you are no longer in control. You're in my place and you will be compliant from the second you walk in. And you kind of need that so people get that they cannot be themselves.
Yeah, you have to break them.
You have to break them.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. But frankly, that is in terms of, and I think what you're talking, but like that would sort of be like the host. That's why I think the host of any night at a comedy club should sort of like that they're not there to do material necessarily. That should be part of the thing.
That
It's
they
like,
have to
listen,
set the stage.
yeah, we're all here to have a great time. It's going to be fun, but listen, no talking. Like, I think that's the job of the host. It's like a ringmaster to a certain extent.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just unfortunate because then you don't always get the best hosting. I mean, I don't know. I agree. I host a ton, and when someone's like, make sure they know all the rules, I'm always like,
you're a
Yeah,
comic. You
got
should
it.
be. No.
got it.
Right.
There should be a host. There should be like hosting and comics are completely different.
Yeah, get like some guy that's just good on his feet. That's just totally improvisational.
Why does it have to be a guy? Dude.
Yeah.
It could be a non-binary
Binary male
Bernstein
much?
Burn.
All right.
Bear.
Okay, I'm just going to say you're wrong. Both of you are wrong.
Really?
Sorry.
Okay. What do you think it should be?
Because
then?
you know what? I did a lot
As long
of
as it's a man, I'm
I
okay with
did
it.
a lot of stuff with
Come on, pussycat.
come on. Where you would go on the road, skirt, call me a dame, where you would go on the road and they would not hire a host, a comic as an MC. They would get like a local, radio personality who
Okay.
didn't have any chops. And then basically whoever's up first is now the host. Let's be honest.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I don't necessarily mean like somebody with no. I mean, essentially somebody that just almost exclusively does crowd work.
Okay,
You know
still
what I
wrong.
mean?
You're still
No?
wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the
Adam.
deal.
What's right
Fucking-
then? I
I'm
don't fucking
idiot.
know.
If you would shut up, I'll tell
Okay,
you.
okay,
I'm-
okay.
I'm
all right.
sorry. I'm sorry for this.
sorry.
It's usually a different guy. So I'm sorry.
I'm
No,
a fill-in.
you
Go ahead.
actually need both because once
Okay.
the crowd has been seduced by crowd work, which is really seductive, and I like doing crowd
Low
work
hanging
too.
fruit.
I like doing crowd work too.
But
and-
enough about
Okay.
Brad Trackman. Sorry, stupid.
But it is like that improv in the moment is very, and it's usually very acerbic, right? You're making
Okay.
fun of people. It is
caustic.
the insulting thing works well. That's how you get everyone, or blah blah blah. And then the audience is in no mood to listen to jokes.
Yeah.
Prepared material. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you actually
Like a
need
flamethrower. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're like me because I'm just being very subjective here. I think with the crowd work, I find it unless you're amazing at it, I'm just like get to the good shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like
So-
the people that mix it,
Okay.
they do a little crowd work,
Yeah.
then they go to a couple
That's fun.
bits, and then they go. That to me is the art.
Yeah, I think that's fun too. I don't mind a sprinkling, but like, listen, there was a comedian that we were talking about before we started rolling that does a good amount of crowd work,
Yeah.
and
Seinfeld?
His name rhymes with Mal Picario.
Oh yeah,
and
right. Uh-huh.
and like I've been at shows where somebody like that, and it's just all what do you do for a living, and I'm like,
Sure.
okay, I don't know.
But I think
mean,
when you do television warm up, which other people, a lot of comics do, you're of course doing just 100% crowd work. But then what happens after that is a television show. It's not someone standing there
Right.
singular and
Right.
telling jokes.
And it's not boom at the boom at the boom.
Yes.
I was the warm up guy very briefly for the Carson Daly Show. And I can't. He loves this story. I just because we don't really have like I'm just telling you things that he's heard a million times, but
that's like one of the bigger train wreck stories. I feel like.
so I'm there, and I had gotten the Jordan Rubin. You know Jordan Rubin?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had done the thing, and Jordan and I met, and he was like, "Hey, he was a writer on the Carson Daly Show," and he goes, "Come in." And so as I arrive at 30 Rock, and I remember I had Horatio Sands' dressing room. I was like, "Oh, that place smells like nachos," but so I come
He
in.
just comes up with this stuff.
Hey, I
all
don't
the
know.
time.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
just
yeah,
comes
good.
up with
Yeah,
it.
you know what I say? What's on my mind, then I hit the microphone. when
I don't
get there.
know where it comes
All right, go ahead. So anyway, so I go and so Jordan meets me and he goes, listen, he goes, the stage manager usually does the crowd work, and I'm sorry, he usually does the he's the warm up, and he goes, so he's really upset you're here, so they don't really want you here. He goes, but don't let that don't let that freak you out or anything. Just sit in this room, the Horatio Sands
Why'd you
room.
tell me, Jordan?
I know. But he goes to sit here. Well, then because the
Don't
stage
let it
manager
affect you.
The stage manager comes up and gets me.
so mean.
It wasn't.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, it wasn't really. That wasn't the thing necessarily. So I'm kind of like, all right, like whatever. I'm just here, right? So I'm sitting in this room and I'm watching the live feed of like Dateline just by myself. Like they actually had a fruit basket. I'm like, pineapple. I'm up with Jordan comes and gets me. We go down to have he goes and eats Subway. I was like, yuck. And Subway in the bottom of 30 Rock. Come up now. It's showtime. I come up. The thing about the Carson Daly Show is the entire audience are people that couldn't get in to see anything else. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like they're not there. Like there are people that couldn't get tickets to see Letterman or fucking Regis and whatever. There are people that are like, nope. I don't even know who's a fan of the Carson Daly Show, right? So it's the audience of people, and they're just kind of what they wander in, like from a group home or something, and they sit them down, and then the stage manager, who's this like bald gay guy, which is fine. Probably bald because guys were rubbing his head and he's blowing him. Rubbed all the hair off. Thank you. Anyway, so the guy comes over and he's
I
hands
know
me
why you got kicked out of Equinox.
Yeah, right. Hey, sorry.
Remember them guys setting
Yeah.
their beverage on
Yeah,
top of
right.
his head,
Which one of you
maybe.
fruits is going to hand me a towel? Jay Jizzmouth, come over here. So the guy goes, all right, and he hands the microphone. He like tells me, and he gives me this box of swag, and it's like he goes, here, give this to the audience, and he kind of storms off. So in the box was like I guess NBC owns the Hallmark Channel or something, and it was all these like Hallmark
gosh.
DVDs and like hats of like failed shows, like her, Dear John with Judd Hirsch,
it's the best.
right? Who wants a mouse pad from Family Time?
I mean, that sounds
Actually,
amazing.
I would like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I had the box, and I'm just talking to everybody, and I'm not really even because Jordan had said we want you to do this because you're not a comic, so we don't want you to do any jokes, and so just kind of come out, and I was just kind of like, all right. So I'm just talking to the audience. I think that's what I'm supposed to do, right?
Crazy
And then
task.
after about 25 minutes, Jordan comes over and he goes, "Listen, Roger Clemens is the guy." It's one guy, but he had other guys with him. It's black guys. He traveled with like 30 guys. So Fabulous was going to be so there were
Throw
a
it
bunch
in
of
the
like
bag.
young black girls that were there, presumably because they knew
they were excited,
Fabulous,
yeah.
right? So now
Fabo.
I've got the microphone, and I'm like, now I'm going through the aisles, right? And I'm walking, and there's this young black girl. And I said, so are you here to see? Of course, I'm like, even back then, I'm like fucking up the guy's name. I'm like, are you here to see Fabulous?
You're
She's like,
stupendous.
right. So is
Who
this your,
loves excellent?
Right, yeah.
Ooh, bring out
So,
extraordinary.
Is this your favorite hip hopper? Right,
Hip-hop-
right.
You called him a hip hop band earlier, which was adorable.
Yeah. So right. I tell you,
An outfit.
right. Are you excited to see your favorite hip hop band? So I say to her like, "Hey, hi, what's your name?" Her name's like Tamara. I mean, "Hi, Tamara." I said, "So let me ask you. As you can tell, I'm representing this. I go, as you can tell, I'm white." I said, "What's some new ghetto slang that that I don't know?" It seemed like a good idea in my head. I think I'm autistic.
No
And-
wonder you got
Right.
fired. Was
Yeah.
this the day you got
and
fired?
yes. And so I said, "What's some new like ghetto slang that the kids are using, so I can be on top of it, because I'm still the kind of guy that says, give me some five and slap me some skin, and, which by the way, the premise of that is pretty funny, because at this point it's like an out of body experience. I'm like, I think it'd be funny if this guy, I'm like a full on character at this point.
I call things the bee's knees.
Yeah, right,
Cat's
right,
pajamas.
right, exactly. Wait, you're straight out of Cleveland, kid, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I said, so what's like a ghetto slang? And I put the microphone in front of her. She goes, ghetto.
Oh,
she goes, I'm from
no.
Scarsdale. And then she goes, you're a racist. And she gave me the microphone back. I looked at it like it was like she handed me a cobra. I said, oh my God.
Wait, can I ask how far into is this right away?
No, this is like a half an hour into. Everyone's already hated
Oh,
me.
you're a
now.
half hour in.
I'm all out of mouse pads.
You've already done.
So, but I had.
Okay.
out of mouse
So yeah.
Because in my mind, this was the first thing that
Oh
happened.
no! This is like this is when I got the notice. I went to DEF CON 4 when I heard Roger Clemens was in traffic. So I go
Oh,
and I go like
right.
shit. So now I'm kind of like fuck. So I said no. I said I'm sorry. I'm gonna walk away. Well, you and I, thank you. Tamara, that was bad. So the whole audience now, all the black girls, there's blood in the water. They're like, ooh. It's like turning into like fucking Jerry Springer. So then I had like a DVD left, a couple DVDs. So there's like they actually shoot where they do SNL. They tape like on Mondays and Tuesdays there. So there's a balcony, right? So I said, hey, who wants look at that. Judith Light is in Mother May I Sleep with Danger. That looks fun. Who wants a DVD up there? And they all raise their hand, and I throw the DVD like that, and it hits a guy in the forehead. I hear a guy go, ow! And they had to stop. The stage manager comes out with a Band-Aid.
This is so great. What a comedy.
And he has to be.
errors.
They have to treat him in the balcony. Yeah. How we in a butterfly? And the whole time I'm just standing there with a microphone. And apparently Carson Daly was watching, and he has a really good sense of humor. Apparently, he was laughing hysterically, like.
Oh, I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And then I finished.
And you're like, I did join the union though. This was my must join.
I got paid SAG. Was it like whatever the SAG or after?
Equity?
folks,
Oh,
was-
no.
yeah.
I got
all
after
of it.
base. It was like $700 or something.
They get paid really well. The
Well,
warm-up
yeah.
people.
Once you get in there, you gotta.
Yeah,
you gotta,
well, I mean,
you gotta get your 90
well,
days
'cause
in.
a lot of if you figure like
Paul Mercurio.
$1,000 for 10 minutes, I mean that's
It's great.
and it's local.
Well,
people get
listen.
really-
It didn't. So then I said to Jordan, I was like, listen, I'm like, what time tomorrow? And he was like, all right. He was actually very cool about it. He goes, look, we'll let you know. He's
We'll
like,
call ya.
It was kind of and he was very nice. He's like, look, you did your best. Like it was like what it was like going to see a retarded kid at T-ball. You tried, and so. But then I
He
didn't.
was like, I will never say we don't want jokes again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From now on, here's
Yeah.
a script.
Next up,
Just
here's
read this.
right, Bozo the clown, right? And then, but it was funny. I didn't see Jordan again for years later, and I was at that Comic-Con with Kurt when he was doing that Ugly Americans voice thing, and I was down there in San Diego, and I saw Jordan on a rooftop, and I went over, and he was like totally like he was wearing like a silk piano scarf. I was kind of making fun of his scarf a little bit. I was like, "Was that the Jeffrey Goering collection?" You know? And he was like, he takes himself a little seriously. So anyway,
Okay.
so it did. I want
What do
to
you
ask.
think? Did you guys? Was he like? I remember. Was he?
Oh, he
cool?
knew very.
Okay.
He wasn't. No, he wasn't cool. I may have been a little coked up, but he was a little. He wasn't. He was a little cool for the room. And I
Okay.
think to come over and be like, Jordan, man, remember that time I fucking that black girl and I threw the fucking CD in? The guy had to come up with the butterfly stitch and wow, look, stupid scarf. I mean, gee, what an asshole, Yeah. So that was like one more stupid thing, and I think you're. So I was flying from L.A. to New York, and this was when I used to work for the National Lampoon, right? And so this podcast here started off as a National Lampoon.
This here podcast.
Sponsored by Squatty Potty.
good product,
you're going to
right?
get one on the way out. I know. It lines it right up. All this shit comes right out of you. It's a highway to Pleasureville. So anyway, so National Lampoon. So I was like, I actually started with Eddie Ift and Jim Jeffries,
Sure.
right? So I was at a point where I was like, fuck, I should like listen to some comedy and kind of see what the kids are up to necessarily. So, because at the time I was working in porn, which is true. And
that's how you got
girl
it.
on girl, yeah, exactly. Anal cream pie paid for that sectional sofa.
It was one of my favorites. I have the T-shirt. I have the mouse pad.
Yes, mouse pad, right. Well, push it out, all right? It's like a
Got the-
Rorschach test.
Got the home game.
Right, exactly. Two men fencing. That was the cum on the mouse pad, folks. So I had purchased, this is back when you could buy on iTunes, and I had bought like Jeffrey Ross's like album, like live at the Atlantic City something. And I had listened to it. So then I'm flying from LA back to New York. I'm with my wife and my daughter and myself. This is before my other daughter was born. And I get on the plane. And a lot of times you can fly from LA to New York and New York to LA, especially if you're in business class. You see people that are in the industry or whatever it is. And so I have lots of these horrible stories. But so I'm sitting there and Jeffrey Ross gets on the plane. And we sort of, I have a very tangential relationship with your community. So we sort of like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, by that I
Okay,
mean
got
Jewish
it.
mothers.
gorgeous, thin lesbians
I-
with something to prove, right?
Got it.
Right, with real tight, what? So anyway, thank you.
Smiles.
Yeah, okay, great.
Tight
With a
smiles?
toothy grin.
Tightest smile in the business.
Papa, have you
I
seen
always
me?
say.
Papa, do you know I care? So Jeffrey Ross gets on, and like I was pretty loaded, and so he was sitting across from me, and I just he looks at me and I said, "Hi, Jeffrey." And of course we get in the plane, and now we're starting to fly. So this is never when you talk to somebody. And by the way, I'm not some star, like not that Jeffrey Ross is a star. Let's be real here, but I don't even like care necessarily.
You're not a star fucker, is what you're
Thank
trying to
you.
say.
I
but-
guess so, but maybe I am. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I'm more like somebody who just was like, I ruin everything. So I just said to Jeffrey Ross, I was like, I go, hey, I just bought your CD or your album. I just listened to it. And he goes, what'd you think? And with that, I just went, too much crowd work. and he just looked at me and he like he turned away from me. And yeah, it turns out he's a rapist anyway. So joke's on him.
I love that you just gave him a real comic
I know, like-
response. Too much crowd
I
work.
know, but I shouldn't have.
Now people do crowd work specials.
Yeah, which is a thing. And look, if people enjoy something, who am I?
Right.
It's none of my business.
There's a lot of them, though.
Let me ask you a question.
Great.
You've been knocking around. You've been putting on the
Been
grease
knocking
paint. for a
around,
couple of-
baby.
Right. Do you have a funny, like, comedy celebrity story? And I'm not asking you to betray confidence or anything like that, but, like, do you have any time when you've just eaten it in front of somebody?
Oh, I feel like all I do is eat
Yeah.
in front of somebody. But I'm trying to think, because I will tell you that just like who I am as a
ahead.
person, much better now. But I was just scared of everyone. I was
Okay.
just scared of everyone. I would
Why
like.
do you think that was?
Why do I think I was? Because
Like, not good enough, not pretty enough?
yeah,
like,
I just thought like everyone hated me. I just figured everyone hated me. So I would go in and I would do my set, and then I would take off, or I would just sit at the bar and anxiously drink Bass on draft.
Did you come right from Calgary to New York?
No,
what's
I
your
went
trajectory.
Yeah, I
Like-
went from Calgary. Actually, I went from
Should
Calgary.
we switch over, Brian?
Yeah, let's do it, please.
Yeah, we'll just switch over.
What does that mean?
If you're standing up, will you give me the other one, please? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll grab
and,
it.
And
for you.
dump
Well,
a
let me
sweet
just,
low in it.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just
Let's-
do it. What am I
Okay, all right. Oh, we'll switch over. Goodbye, everybody. We'll be back
We'll be back.
right after this.
Coming back in 2 seconds. You want to use the restroom or anything? We're take a
Sure.
minute? Okay.
Just so I know, what time are we
Another
going to?
30 minutes. And
Great.
and can I put you in a car? Is that okay?
You have to put me in a car.
I'll put you in a car. No, it's fine. I would prefer.
But honestly,